I've already reviewed the Vaxee XE, so just play part of that review here, so you can get an idea of the shape. Then I'll talk about the size differences and recommendations, and the other changes. Okay, so the XE is basically Vaxee's version of the G Pro Wireless. There are some Vaxee style design elements to it though, like with a flatter top, so it fits into palms a little better. The hump is a tiny bit different, and feels like a little less curvature on the sides. I've always ranked the G Pro Wireless high, but that's mainly for the low weight wireless and technology. The actual shape has never been a favourite for me. Shape-wise, I prefer mice like the Razer Viper, but I think the Vaxee MPO-1 shape is actually better than all of them, with the MPO-1S being a close second. So what's the difference? It's mainly in the subtle details on the shape. So notice from the back, the XE has that more flat shape that I mentioned. It's like the Zowie FK series, and because of that, it feels fuller all the way through to the buttons. So you notice the G Pro X has more slopes side to side on the buttons too. I'd say the XE is slightly more comfortable, but the sides seem to have more curvature on the G Pro Wireless shape, so those are a bit better. But these differences are really minor. I'm guessing most people aren't going to even notice them. Okay, so on this one, the weight is 61 grams, the length is about 11.9 centimeters, grip width about 5.8, height about 3.67, and buttons very low at 1.6. Hand size recommendations, can't really palm it, so under 17 centimeters. Fingertip and claw grip, I'd say between 19 and 21. Here it is next to some other mice for an idea of the size. Testing the sensor in game was all good as you'd expect these days, and as usual my only issue was the limbo jumps, but that's on all mice. I keep repeating that because yeah, it is a problem, and I want the industry to find a solution. So moving on to the buttons, here's a listen to the clicks. Left and right have a dull sound, so they're not too loud. They feel decent. Wheel is quite hard to press in, but thankfully it's not too loud when scrolling, so that's great to hear. And the side buttons are pretty standard. Overall decent, not bad, not amazing, just decent. The build is solid, feels well made, no creaks or cracks. Slight rattle around the sensor, but doubt that's going to affect anything. The materials feel good, kind of a bit glossy, somewhere between that and matte textured finish. A little bit slippery, but seemed fine in game. Looking at the base, you can change the polling rate, DPI and LOD. I'll leave a link to the manual in the description for you, but it's easy and great not to have to use software. The cable is just a standard rubber one, but it's wireless with over 100 hours battery life, if you use the right settings. So it should be easy enough to keep charged, as long as you don't forget. Where it ranks? I'm not a huge fan of this shape, I still prefer the NP01. This is lighter, but shape is king. But the question is, how much is shape king? Because choosing a mouse is meant to be a balance of features. So if the shape is very good, maybe it offsets the higher weight. If the weight is extremely low, maybe it offsets the worst shape. I'd personally be choosing the NP01S, but if you prefer this kind of shape and you want this weight, then it is a good choice from Vaxee. The top mice are so good these days, it's hard to go wrong. I know people who love these mice, so a reminder, it is personal preference and you have to find what's right for you. But in terms of rankings, I don't really see much reason to put it that high. So still a good choice, despite the ranking not being too high. Okay, hope that helps. Thanks to Vaxee for sending it out for a review. All thoughts my own of course. Usual links below. Sub, like and share. Catch ya.